What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dylan. You are watching Western Farm Garage. Now, this is gonna be a short video, okay? Not gonna be very long. Gonna be an informational video. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm going to test my belt box snorkel, okay? So this puppy right here, a little dirty, but it's fine. That, okay? Do not, I repeat, do not use this method to test your airbox, which in my case, my airbox snorkel is this one right here. This one, okay? Do not use this method to test your airbox because you will damage your motor, okay? Don't do it. Do not use this method to test your airbox. Only your belt box, okay? And now this method will apply to Can-Ams, brute forces, Yamaha, anything with a belt box, literally anything. So you can use this method for your Renegade. You can use it for your Yamaha Grizzly. You can use this method for your Kawasaki brute force. You can use this method for anything that has a CVT driven gearbox. All right. So here's what you do. The only thing you need for this method is a water hose, okay? Now, I'd recommend this, but I also don't at the same time. The only way I recommend this method, the water hose method to test your belt box, is if you know you have clean, good water, okay? It is not recommended to use hard water. My faucet leaks a little bit. I actually have it off, but it just leaks. So, do not use this method unless you are 1000% sure that your water is clean. Okay, I have well water, so technically, I really shouldn't even be doing this, okay? Because well water is hard water, so if I do it enough times, it might actually fry my clutch. But I'm gonna do this for the sake of the one time, me filling my belt box with water so that I can see if there's a leak. Now, on the contrary, this is actually my second time doing it. My first time I found a leak in my snorkel, and I will show you guys where I found it. If you want to check out my video where I installed the snorkel on my Can-Am, I'll leave it right around here somewhere. But my snorkel leaked in one spot, and I will take the plastics off and show you guys. So if you do not know how to take your plastics off, it's fairly simple. Where your snorkels are ran, it's going to be on your driver's side. So this side right here with the belt box. You're going to take out that pin under your seat. There is another pin. And then right back here is another pin. So you take out all of those plastic pins, and then you will be able to remove your side plastic. Oh, and you also have to pick up on your shroud a little bit. Then it'll come right off. All right, now once you have your 3 pins out, like shown, you can take your plastic, and from this part right here, you can just pull up on it, maybe, hard enough that this little tab will come out, and then you should be able to just pull it off like so. Easy. Okay, now this is my snorkel setup. So if you want to know how to set up your snorkel like I set it up, please go watch the video that I'm going to have up in the icon at the top. But this is my snorkel for my belt box, and this is the inlet right here. So this is where the air gets sucked in, down here. And this is the exhaust where the air from the intake gets blown out and goes up. Okay, so my snorkel runs from my exhaust. It's right here. It goes up, and it is the left one. And my inlet for my belt box is the middle, and then the inlet for my engine airbox is the right. All right. So with that being said, fairly straightforward. You take your water hose and you shove it down into the inlet of your belt box. Okay, and then you just run and you turn on the water. Okay, faucet on. Okay, now we gotta run back to make sure the water just doesn't start spraying everywhere. Okay. So, our belt box is now filling up with water. Now, this is where we come over here to check for leaks. So, the water is running down this pipe right now and going into our belt box. And when it gets full, it will come out the exhaust and fill this pipe. And you want to fill it all the way until the water starts running out of the top of this snorkel right here. Okay, that actually filled up quite quickly. So, checking. I'm knocking on this. It is completely filled with water. And I'm checking my snorkel, and it's not leaking. So my snorkel leaked off of this boot right here, and it was dripping down onto the belt box. I'll insert a clip of the video that I took where it was leaking. This clamp right here, it was leaking water and it was coming down, hitting the belt box. It actually still is leaking a little bit, so I'm gonna keep wrenching down on that. Hopefully the leak stops, and it doesn't look like it's going to, so I'm probably gonna have to actually pull that out and re-silicone it. As you can see, my snorkels are completely full of water. That filled up quite quickly. I guess I had the hose running faster this time than the last time. Now basically, you just gotta look around and see if there is any place whatsoever where your snorkel is dripping, because all these pipes are filled with water. So you just gotta listen for it. Make sure. I'm trying to look down the snorkel to see if the water is falling. It doesn't look like it. And it's not wet, it's not dripping out of there at all. So what I'm gonna do, just for the sake of this, I'm actually gonna blow air into the inlet and see what happens. So I blew air, and as you see, I don't know if you caught that, but water actually came out of the exhaust. So now that I put that little bit of pressure, it wasn't a whole lot of air pressure, but it was a little bit of air pressure just to, if it was gonna force any water out of the lines, it would have done so. And I don't see any water dripping from the four-wheeler other than from the front where it got wet, obviously. But just looking at the snorkels, I think they're good. I think they are pond ready, my friends. So that is how you test the snorkels to see if they will leak water on anything with a belt box. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this method is only for the belt box. Do not use this method for your airbox. If you want to know a method for your airbox, it's pretty simple. All you do is you start the four-wheeler, crank it, let it run, and then you just hold your hand over your air intake like this until it completely shuts the motor off. If you have rubber boots, you'll actually see the rubber boots like condense down and suck in from the vacuum. And then basically, for your air intake on Can-Ams anyway, it's like this pipe right here comes down, goes across right here, and then into the air box right here, because the air box is really right under this hood. So it's not a whole lot of piping that you have to worry about leaking, thankfully. So once you have that covered, and you keep your hand over it while you're listening for the leak. So I know that's kind of hard to do. You might want to be in like a quiet area, or like have your shop doors closed, wherever you're testing it, and just listen and to see if you hear air hissing. So I know myself personally, I had a bunch of trouble with my airbox lid leaking when I first snorkeled this thing, and it would actually, I could hear it hissing through the airbox lid right here. See, the airbox lid is right under this little contraption. So this is my airbox lid. I actually have a rubber seal that I bought off of Amazon and goes all the way around. So this airbox is completely sealed now. It's not gonna leak water at all. But I actually would hear air seeping in on the bottom right here and right here. So that's how I knew my airbox wasn't completely sealed. And if I would have taken this thing airbox deep, it would have sank and I would have been in a world of doo-doo. But it is sealed now, so that is all you have to do to test your air boxes, vacuum test it, start it, let it run, choke it out, and see if you hear any vacuum leaks within your lid or your tubing. And that's pretty much it. So now I'm going to show you guys the procedure on how you get the water out of your belt box once you have verified that it is not leaking from anywhere on your snorkel system. All right, you guys, so I got my shop doors open, and I know it might be hard to see on video, but my shop doors, I have a ramp right here, and it slopes down. So if you actually look at the foiler from a side profile with my phone level, you can see that the foiler is actually slanted, and I actually have it jacked up on a jack too, because you want all of the water to go to the back of the belt box. I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, so at the back of your belt box, it's gonna be kind of hard to see, but there is a drain plug on your belt box. You might actually be able to see it from the back. Yes, right here. You see that? That is your drain plug. Basically, you want to pull that off. So you'll just take either your finger or whatever you want to use to a pair of pliers. And then it's kind of hard to see. All right, once you get your plug off, your water will start draining out of your belt box like that. And the reason you want your foiler jacked up and on a slope is because you want all the water to run out the back to the back of your belt box. That way you get every ounce of water that you can out. And then once you get all the water drained and you like the free flowing water like you see there, when the free flowing stops, then you're actually gonna start your foiler, put it in neutral and rev it, because your clutch, your primary clutch is here, your secondary is here. So when you put it in neutral, that clutch is gonna activate and start spinning your secondary, and that centrifugal motion going this way is going to create wind out of your drain, and also it's gonna create wind out of your CVT exhaust. So be mindful of that when you start revving it. You're gonna get splashed in the face with water from this, but it's fine, that's normal. All right, so once your belt box stops draining, leave your drain plug off. And now that I think about it, this is actually going to spray a lot of water out of there, because for the simple fact that this is kind of like a trap. So if you can see, I don't know how well you can see, it comes out and then immediately goes down and then up, kind of like if you've ever seen a sink trap, how it comes from the drain and then goes down and then snakes and then comes back up and then goes out the wall. It's kind of what this thing is acting like. So this all right here is actually still full of water. So when I start this and start revving it, it's actually probably gonna spray me a lot. So that's gonna be fun. Start it. You don't actually have to put it in neutral. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's still gonna spin the clutches either way. But then you just sit here and you just give it, feather the throttle a little bit. Uh-oh. I'm gonna let it sit here and idle for a second because it is kind of cold, so I don't want to romp on it really hard. But I'm gonna just let it idle for a sec, let it warm up, get to temp, and then we'll give it a little bit of beans to get some of that water out. All right, just feel the motor block, feel your heads. When your heads start getting warm, yeah, my heads are already warm. So you can basically just take your throttle. Now you don't want to do that a lot because you obviously don't want to hurt your motor. But just do it enough where you think it's forced most of that water out. And then once you think it's forced most of your water out, you can just hop on it and ride it. It'll dry itself the rest of the way just by air flowing through it. So just get back on it, put it in high. I can see the belt didn't slip at all. It drove me right up. So that is it, my friends. That is how you test the Snorkel on your Can-Am, whether that be any Can-Am, whether that be Renegade, Outlander, whatever, you name it. Even side-by-sides. The method works on side-by-sides too. Anything with a belt box. So Can-Ams, Kawasaki's, Yamahas, not Hondas because they suck. Just kidding, I love Hondas. My first four-wheeler was a Honda. Actually, I lied. My first four-wheeler was a Yamaha. It was a Yamaha Breeze 125. I will never forget that four-wheeler. Transmission blew up on it, obviously, because it wasn't belt-driven. Anyway, that is how I test the Snorkel on my units from now on. I learned that method a while back, and I was like, why not? I mean, it's free. Water's free, obviously. Comes straight from the ground. Everyone, or almost everyone in the United States has it. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments down below. I will be happy to address any concerns you guys have, any questions you may have. If you want to learn how to snorkel your Can-Am, just tap the little box right up here or go down in the description below. I will leave the video linked. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and peace out.